What is your favorite anime?
Mine's Skrillex.
Skrillex.
I'm so distanced from human sensibilities and stuff.
Was getting caught part of your plan?
Put your tray tables up and your seat in that full, upright position, because it's the Flight Plan, the official podcast of Big Guy for You Scanlations, Japan's #1 bang-posting manga scanlation podcast. Join the flight crew, Tom and Aiden, as we bounce about all the anime, the manga, and all of that scanlation content. Tom, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about something boring. Gotcha. Get it, dude?
Oh, dude, I get it. Because we're talking about, well, not just gacha games, but all different anime mobile games. And spoilers, they're all awful.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that.
Well, we're going to find out which ones are worth your time, which ones you need to avoid, you know, which ones have the cutest anime girls, the most DFC lolis. We're gonna give you all the stuff. It's gonna be fantastic, so stay tuned. But before that, Tom, do you have any top of the show notes?
Boy, do I. And this is kind of an old fan favorite. Actually, I don't know if it's a fan favorite or not. I don't even know if it's my favorite.
But it's old.
But it's an old segment that we haven't done in a while. We've neglected it. It's the Sudoku tally counter, whatever we even called it. I don't remember what the counts were, but I think we were, I think I was at like maybe 1 or 2, and I think you were at like 10, maybe? Does that sound right?
I think that was reversed.
Okay, yeah. So you were at 2, and I was at 0, right? Minus 10, actually. There it is. I think we've both got a couple, maybe, but I definitely have a couple. One of them was suggested by reader Uverine, I don't know how they say it, on one of the Manga Dex chapters. I forgot what it was. I forgot to write that down.
Wow, this is a great segment. This is fantastic. I'm so glad you came prepared.
Yeah, I came mostly prepared, and I think it was because I think it was when I messed up the layering on that text, and I erased like half of a sentence.
Yeah, but that was like 2 months ago.
Well, this guy was catching up, so he was behind, and then that was also the last time we recorded an episode 2 months ago. So
I did have to look up what the opening was. It feels like forever.
Yeah, well, it has been. And I guess that could be a Sudoku as well that we haven't recorded in a while, so oops.
We've been giving you that hot and spicy micro content with the chapter reviews, the ongoing series where we take the camera behind the scenes of your favorite mangas and show you the boundary breaks.
Right, yeah. Also, we've been giving you the content of Absence Makes a Heart Grow Fonder. It's a new radical experimentation kind of approach that we're taking to content creation.
We're trying to instill a battered housewife syndrome in you guys so that you become dependent on us.
Right.
It's the dentist system.
Display, what is it?
Display,
value?
Engage. Yeah, display value.
Engage physically, maybe.
Yeah, engage physically. Would neglect.
Yeah, probably, maybe even neglect emotionally, I don't know.
Yeah, neglect emotionally.
And then other N, neglector again, I don't know.
Yeah, double neglect. N for gamer word.
Yes, and then I is... I don't remember. That's what I stands for. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then S was
separate entirely.
Yeah. That's pretty much the dentist system. We got it. This is a call to action because I checked the download counts on Tiny Green, the game I translated. Very, very sad number. Very paltry.
We only have 1,000 downloads on it, you guys. We need to up that. If everybody that's listening to this right now went to download it just one time, we would have over 12 million downloads.
Just one download a month, and you can feed hungry, I almost said Chinese kids, hungry Japanese kids.
What's the thing that PewDiePie says? He's like, for a limited time only, it's free, and that's a good price. It's like,
I don't know. I really haven't seen a lot of PewDiePie.
He says that for his PewDiePie Tuber Simulator. It's still relevant.
Right. Like, I've seen that one, and also Now with Legs, because apparently it's a meme that he doesn't have legs. Yeah. I don't
know how that started. I wasn't a 9-year-old army at the time.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't part of the 30-year-old army at the time. I wasn't drafted yet.
You know, it's like 2 famous YouTubers have children armies. It's PewDiePie and Saseth. He's got his Ugandan...
That's a different kind of child army.
Yeah, child soldiers.
Yeah.
That's his backstory in Uganda.
I'm sure actually most successful YouTubers have child armies. Look at
look at all the Minecraft people that I've been watching.
Logan Paul or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're like way younger.
When they're like at VidCon and they're like surrounded by like literally hundreds of like minors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's one great way to Weinstein yourself is to be surrounded by 14-year-old girls. That's
a Weinstein mixed with a Wiener, Anthony Weiner, that is.
I get it.
Well, that wasn't a joke. It was social commentary, real scathing. That's what we're all about. Political commentary.
This
and all
is
that.
Japan's number one anime politics
Yeah,
YouTube
it.
sensation.
But back to my embarrassingly low download counts. I don't think I've ever advertised it in an end page, so I'm curious now. So
that's a good idea.
Do that next week and see, if I get any downloads from that or not. Conclude my top of the show stuff. Oops, I skipped this week again for putting out a chapter. Oopsies.
Oops, I did it again.
Yep, very true.
It's Britney, bitch. You see that? I think it's a Vine or a TikTok where the dude pulls up in like a Sebring convertible, and he's kind of like a beta looking dude, but he's wearing sunglasses, and he pulls up to things, and he's blasting Lady Gaga, and then he just rolls down the window, and he's like, "It's Britney, bitch!" Like, because it's not Britney, it's Lady Gaga.
I almost get it.
It's funny when you watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there I was, sitting at home, bored out of my mind, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to play mobile games, because that's something to pass the time until I die. What I did is I went and I downloaded like all the games that have anime flavored icons or something like that. We're just going to go through. We're going to see all the fun different anime styles. And so far, I thought I had them in alphabetical order, but I can't really speak the alphabet properly, so some of them are out of it.
I mean, that's not really a vital detail either. Like, who cares about alphabetizing this? But I think first on the list is Archero. Just kidding.
Is that technically? I mean,
it's not a waifu game, but it's fun.
I did download some American ones or some westernized ones, and per capita, they're way better than the spoilers.
In what way? Do you mean the gameplay, the mechanics, the characters, the like the monetization?
Most things, yeah.
Really?
Most things. Because, okay, so Japan has the gacha system.
Right.
The West has loot boxes and loot crates.
How's
It's
that
a
different?
little. It's a little bit different. It's not a lot because now they're blurring the lines, but there is a little bit of difference, and we can get into that. If we have enough time, I'll go over the Western games that I also downloaded. But right now we're starting with Azure Lane. That's Blue Lane, and that's a great looking little anime thing. So I just downloaded them from the icon. I don't even know what the game was when I installed it or anything.
Right. I think that's standard procedure for all downloaders.
Yeah. So my notes right here. The style, generic anime.
So this is one where it's kind of like the one where there's ships, right?
Yes. So this is kind of like a side-scrolling Galaga ship shooting game. It automatically fires. I have the gameplay here. Sucks.
Okay.
It's bad responsiveness, and there's no actual gameplay. You can just kind of stand there, and you can move from particle effects to hit you, like move away from the missiles. But even then, it's not, doesn't really feel sluggish. I was not a big fan of the combat. It was very, I don't know. The UI, how's the UI? Well, it's cluttered, and like a lot of these things, there's like bright flashing lights everywhere. There's menus everywhere. To start the game, there's like a tutorial, and you have to read all this stuff. I don't want to read all this stuff. I don't want to learn like 12 different.
They have so many different weird
gyms.
mechanics and stuff too. Where like the tutorials, I just stop at the tutorials 9 times out of 10.
So there were some positive things. Basically, this is kind of like that anime where they're all ships, or maybe it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like the girls are ships.
We should figure out what that's called.
Well, we should, but we won't. What's cool is the light versus heavy ships. So
like Loli versus MILF?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I thought was awesome.
That's how you would have to do it, though.
Because, the light cruisers are little lolis, and the heavy ships are the big...
milk trucks.
Milk trucks, yeah. Which was
Mega Milks.
The cow tits. I thought that was a fantastic thing. And you get to start by picking... You pick whichever one of the 3 lolis that you want to start with. And that becomes like your main... I don't know what you would want to call it. Your main little cruiser that you use.
Right.
And there is apparently romance in the game. You can romance your ships, which, I mean, if you're going to be spending money on a gacha game.
Can you pet them like in Fire Emblem, the 3DS one?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Some of the games have them. Most of the games have it. So I think there's probably something.
Most games have petting.
Most of the anime games, yeah.
Well, I know that's what you meant, but that's a surprise to me. I need to play these.
Yep.
Because that was a cool part in Fire Emblem.
I like the theme of the ship girls. I think that's good. I think they have a good thing. When you go into the actual gameplay, obviously you don't see the anime profiles. You see like a really not well done chibi style of the things. Like uglier. Well, it's very similar to how Scribblenauts does it, where they're kind of like very round. It looks very lazy.
Right.
Chibi.
And
Scribblenauts has charm. These did not.
There's like a name for that kind of animation style where
Chibi.
No, it's like a paper doll type thing, right?
It's very similar to that.
Kind of like Fire Emblem, the mobile one. Mm-hmm. Everything apparently I know is through Fire Emblem.
So we'll get to Fire Emblem, and I have some things to say on that.
Yeah.
So, what's the final ranking? Lewdness is an 8 out of 10.
Oh,
I
wow.
think.
Pretty high.
Yeah. I played this one first. I played them in alphabetical order. And I was like, wow, this is pretty lewd. You can romance the girls, which gives you a high thing. Not every game you can romance the girls.
A few, I would think.
Yeah. I think maybe if you take a few points away from all of my scores, I think the average ended up being like 7 or 8. You have to counteract that.
So you're doing like the game reviewer problem where the first 5 numbers don't count?
Yes, but
so it's a 2 out of 5.
You compare it to a normal game.
Like a non-phone game.
Yeah, no, like a normal phone game. If you were out of all phone games, it's an 8 out of 10 because most games don't have any type of lewdness or romance.
Sure.
So I'm already self-selecting
True.
the anime style things. The girls are probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Lots of cute girls.
Do they have like swimsuit models and different like outfits?
Different outfits? I don't know, but it brings me to another point where there's lots of cute girls, but there's too many to feel invested.
Right.
There's just so many, like a million different girls, a million different cruisers. So it's like, okay, I can get this one, but I'm not going to remember your name. There's way too many of them.
It's a real hard balance to strike, to get right.
So that's Azure Lane. We'll go to
Would you recommend it?
I don't recommend any of these. Okay. I don't recommend any phone games.
Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like this is not really recommended.
I don't recommend video games in general.
Well, I don't recommend life. Just Minecraft yourself.
Don't listen to this. What are you doing? Do something productive. Read a book. That's not manga.
Good distinction.
Yeah.
I almost read a manga there and thought I was being productive.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. Epic 7. So the icon. Generic anime. Most of these are generic anime style.
They all are.
I have a big problem with that because they're not. You can't tell the difference. They all look the same. Like, and an icon is supposed to be like quintessential. It's supposed to draw you in. It's supposed to give you it's a window into the soul of the game. It's the character. It's the first thing you see. So I think they're doing a disservice with all these games by making them just generic anime girls.
Most game apps,
but they're very successful. So maybe I'm wrong.
Most game apps in general, I find, have just terrible
bad
icons that have nothing to do with the game at all.
Spoiler for the Western part. Every Western game has that same picture of the soldier with the helmet with doing the soy boy yell face, and it's driving me crazy.
That, like,
they all have that
kind of character with like the square helmet type thing.
Yeah, because Castle Crashers did it or whatever the game was, and then it's over. They all copy that because there's no ingenuity, there's no creativity. It's all copycats.
Yep.
Cheap cash grabs. So the gameplay is a side scroller. I believe this is the one where they're on their feet. It's not like ships or anything. They're like walking through. It's kind of like a 2D side scroller action game.
What's the setting? Because the last one was kind of like naval battles. What is this?
It's like a fantasy.
Okay, like elves and orcs and stuff.
Yeah. Realistically, this is one I played some of the least because it was just the gameplay was so uninteresting. It was just so bad.
This is the one that I've been seeing ads for.
Probably.
Right, yeah, this looked really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it had some flashy animations like spell detail. I was like, hey, that's kind of neat, but it didn't even match the anime style.
Right.
They were pseudo chibi. It's not like chibi, but like they were scaled down versions of the anime thing. It looks like somebody did it in Flash. It's just like all their animations are motion tween. Can't stand it. So
this one looked like it had like kind of a mix 50-50 of like male champions, I guess, for lack of a better term.
It's very similar to what's the game? Fate.
Okay,
it's similar.
I forgot.
It's like a copycat of Fate.
I legitimately forgot that Fate had male heroes.
Yeah. I mean, same with Fire Emblem. They have like a 50-50, I think, or probably less.
Well, actually, probably exactly 50-50 for romancing options.
Probably not, because I can only imagine how many different bridal versions there are of like Tharja or something.
Oh yeah, so, Tharja. Well, I meant raw characters, but if you mean like combinations or whatever, alts,
That's that. I can't recommend it. I didn't even get past the tutorial. I was so bored with it.
Yeah, it looked really bad based on the ads.
Next one is Girls Frontline.
What was that? A 1 out of 10?
I can't even give them rankings. Like,
2 out of 10. You heard it here first. One from each of us. It's the Famitsu. Isn't that how they do it?
Something like that.
Or it's like there's like 10 of them. or there's 4 of them and they have like 0 out of 40 or whatever.
All right, so we're going on Girls Frontline. And this was one that I thought I was interested in just because I had seen this IP around. It's a very popular IP. I've heard of it.
I've heard the name. Is this another Girls Are Ships?
Not exactly, but they're military girls. And spoilers, I didn't play it far enough to find out if they're personifications of like tanks or anything. But they are military girls. The icon is also generic anime, but with a military theme. So
I think that's the technical term for that is generic anime. Get it, dude?
Oh, dude, that is
anime.
Dude, that type of line is why we're number 1 on iTunes Comedy Podcast.
Yeah, that's why I'm not sad and lonely, because I have tons of friends.
So the gameplay is kind of like Risk-ish.
That sounds like it could be fun, actually.
Yeah,
which could be. Which is surprising, because I think by nature these are not allowed to be fun.
But see, what really draws me away from it, how the UI is just so cluttered, techno stuff. It's like there's a thing with the Asian games where they just over clutter with all these menus and currencies and different like options to do things. And it's like, this doesn't even work on a mobile because, fat finger it and I hit like different menus and things like that. I only played the first battle and I didn't get to see the girls' avatars. I just saw their like chibi game forms, so I can't rank the girls on that.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a low rating, just out of...
Well, I want something with cute girls and good gameplay, which is apparently a lot to ask for.
You really wouldn't think so. Well, I mean, there are a couple mobile games with good gameplay. All you have to do is add in a cute girl or 5. It seems easy, right?
You would think so.
We'll have to make the BG4U mobile app experience.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the end spoiler of the episode is everybody write in your ideas for the mobile game that we'll produce. So on to the next one. It's Necromancer. This isn't quite a Chinese cartoon like we're used to. This is a Korean cartoon. The style is also, anime girl. It's whatever. It's a little bit different. It looks more like a crayon color. Not crayon, but like maybe art pencil styled. It looks like it's like lighter colors. It looks like it's more drawn. It's Korean style animation. It feels like a grindy version of Don't Starve. It kind of reminds me of that.
Whoa, so that sounds like an actual game, though.
Yeah, but it's more automated. It's something where it's one of those things where, and it's Asian games that do this mostly, where you can put on an auto complete this level. Like Fire Emblem has that. A lot of things different have that. And that it really doesn't get me with that. The UI, it looks like straight out of assets ripped from tutorial Unities.
Probably is.
Yeah. So it's really not that great, and it has that Korean style of
like NTR and that's all I know about Korean stuff.
No, I mean like UI style, where it reminds me of like old Final Fantasy clutter, like, and you can tell you ever play a game and it's translated and they didn't resize the UI.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Wasn't Xenoblade Chronicles X like that, or it was super small UI?
I never played it.
Yeah, you did. The one with the mechs on the Wii U.
Oh.
I don't remember.
I think that was just bad scaling. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't remember if it was the Japanese or the English, but one of them had a really.
It was the
small...
English because I remember playing it and I had to like, I couldn't see it on the actual gamepad.
Yeah.
Like so, and my TV wasn't that big. It was only like a 40-something inch. So I was like, I had to sit right in front of the TV. No, it was like an older TV. That's not big for a TV.
Well, my TV's like computer monitor.
It's a monitor. That's because it is a monitor.
No, it's a TV.
Well, whatever. But it's the art style is kind of like old Final Fantasy. It's not bad. What actually drew me to it to download was that it didn't look completely generic. So I think the art direction's pretty good. It needs better UI. Gameplay, I didn't get too far. But girls, I only saw 1. 5 out of 10 for that.
Wow.
Lewdness, I don't think there was any lewdness.
Very sad.
A
sad showing by Korea. You guys need to step your game up.
All right, we're going to get to one that is a fan favorite. This is Honkai Impact 3rd, or the 3rd Impact. This is the sequel to Evangelion with the 3rd Impact.
Interesting. I see. As a non-anime fan, I don't get that reference.
It's their whole thing was the 3rd Impact is when the angels came down from hell and destroyed
came
all
down?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically...
Is that actually correct in the Evangelion lore?
The Evangelion lore is actually incredibly realistic to real life.
That's not the word I expected to hear.
Like, if you go watch Deus Ex on YouTube with Alex Jones,
Right.
He
Oh,
basically explains the plot of Evangelion and Deus Ex and
that is
everything. Life.
That is the title of one of the YouTube videos of that clip. Deus Ex, or no, it was Alex Jones explained the plot to Evangelion.
Yeah, it's very so it's very interesting.
I'm gonna watch this one of these days, I swear.
I don't know if you want to watch the new one or if you want to watch the old one. I watched the old one. I thought it was pretty good.
That's probably the one I would watch, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's the recommended.
The new one's better art style. And they gender swapped one of the pro tags, I think.
Oh.
Which is interesting. And they turned her into like a glasses girl. Kind of reminds me of Persona girl. I can't remember. Redhead. Computer hacker. Elite hacker.
Right, yeah. Futaba.
Anyway, Honkai Impact 3rd, which is improper grammar. The icon is generic anime, which, takes points. The install is crazy. It was like, the install was so big, it had multiple cutscenes to like...
Oh, yeah.
You downloaded the cutscene to break up the monotony of the install. It was like 2 gigs.
That's the same with, what's that Nintendo one? Dragalia Lost.
Yeah, a few of them, actually.
That one, oh man, there's like a 2 gig download, and then you play the tutorial, and it's like, would you like to download another 2 gigs to proceed? And I uninstalled right then and there.
But I'll tell you what, that early cutscene, it's 3D, and it shows the main girl.
Cool.
And that kept me downloading it.
Wow.
That main girl has the best thighs in almost all of anime.
Wow, high praise.
Yes. So they're wearing like an Evangelion spandex suit.
Yep.
Because they're like cyborgs or whatever. And the thigh gap is just ridiculous. And this actually has probably the best gameplay of any mobile anime game that I've played. It's like a Bayonetta light. It's like a light Bayonetta. It's absolutely fantastic. In fact, she even has some of the same moves where you can do the ultimate and like a big heel comes down and kicks the enemy. I had a lot of fun playing it. I only played it for like maybe an hour, but you get other girls and like you can switch in between them on the fly, and there's like a rock paper scissors thing, like magic or psychic beats android beats bio beats psychic type of thing. And the attacks of the girls do different things, and you get guns and scythes and swords. One of like the Kudare twin tail girls that you get, like the third person you get, has like a JoJo stand mech, which is really cool.
That.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good.
It's a cool game. It's like a Bayonetta if the levels were only like 2 minutes each. 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Size, basically.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat in the fact that you could just play one really quickly and then go. What I don't like about it is the mobile stuff, in the sense that there's things you upgrade. There's loot crates. You fuse weapons together. You put gems and chips and all sorts of like things onto them. Like, oh yeah, it's 2% more power. But the game is like easy enough and compelling enough that you could probably play without it. You really don't need that 0.01% upgrade for $50. Like, you can just get a single weapon and play through it. But I didn't get to the part where they inevitably hit a difficulty curve where you need to grind or you need to spend money to get it. Yeah. I just played the first like 2 hours.
Yeah, dude, they all do that like crazy. I think that might be more of a Western trend, but it's just so terrible. Like, they start you off with like enough energy to play for like a good solid hour, maybe even, and then like you just hit that wall. It's just malicious game design, really. Yeah.
The aesthetics are actually really cool. It's kind of like a futuristic cyberpunk, but not grim dark. It's more like upbeat. It's more like an Apple future dystopia. And
I'm okay with that. Yeah. Because like that's the thing I really hate about cyberpunk and all that kind of future stuff. They're always grimy and dirty. Like, can't we have a nice future idea? It's fiction. Let's have something nice for a change.
This one also has the bonus of there's not 300 girls. There's like,
hold on, how's that a bonus?
Okay, because if there's so many, you can't grow attachment to any of them.
Well, how many are there?
There's probably there's probably 50 to 100 options, but most of them are like alternate costumes that have a different skill set. But maybe there's only like 20 actual girls, but they could change outfits.
Very bizarre.
Sometimes the change of outfit is like a different class. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, where you have like Goku Saiyan mode, Goku whatever mode.
Right, yeah.
You know? And then, of course, there's alternate outfits for each mod, each thing.
Girl.
The UI, like I said, is actually pretty sweet. It does suffer from just too many things. The art direction of it, I think, is great. It's beautifully cel-shaded. Reminds me of like a lighter and more techno, like Borderlands is like a grunge cyberpunk, like a dirty desert waste punk.
Yeah, it's gross.
This is like a clean version of that, and I think it's a great design. I really like this game a lot. It's one of the favorites that I played, and
That's a big recommend, is what I'm hearing. Wow, 3 thumbs up.
So now I haven't gotten to the part where they ask you to spend money. So I haven't done that.
You'll put one of your thumbs down when that happens, right?
Exactly. But other than that, I think it's pretty good.
Amazing.
Aesthetics are probably a 9 out of 10. The girls are probably... Actually, really, there's only like 2 out of the 20 girls that I like. So that's a low rating there. But the thigh gap level is 10 out of 10. So I give it a recommendation based on that. And and the main girl has really trad hair. She's got like double pigtails, which is great. That's just handlebars. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's really great.
And which one was this again? What's the game called?
I think this is Honkai Impact.
Oh, the third.
Yeah. Which...
How are the first 2? Were they any good? See, that was a joke, because I assume there aren't 1 and 2.
I mean, there might be.
Yeah, could be.
Who knows? But I think this is its own IP. I'm level 11 is what I got to, and I'm sure it goes higher more. But yeah, she's really cute. I like her. But I think in the story she's a lesbian, so it doesn't really. There's a little bit of Yuri in there.
Might be anime lesbian, which is not real.
This is actually also one of the few stories that I even skimmed over. Most of the time, I just hit skip on all the stories because it's a mobile trash story. Mm-hmm. It's trash. Funny enough, this wasn't one that I spent the most time on, but it was one I enjoyed my time on. So.
All right, so you didn't expect this, but I've got an entry that I've dabbled in previously.
Excellent.
This one's called Review Starlight. I don't think I've talked about the show on the podcast at all.
Is that an Idol girl?
Yes.
So maybe we did talk about it when...
No, that's not the Idol episode. I saw this much afterwards. This is one where they kind of get dressed up in like almost like Prince-looking attire, and then they like fight each other with swords and like bows and stuff.
That could be good. Although I'm looking at it and they look just very generic.
Oh, they all look the same. All their outfits are identical. I mean, it looks cool for one of them. Basically, the main 2 characters are wearing like just color swapped versions of the same outfit. It's like the 2 new dog legendaries in Sword and Shield Pokemon.
They look exactly the same,
but just like slightly different colors. So I watched a couple episodes of this show. It's like 3 seasons old or so it's relatively new, and it's a bizarre show. There's like a talking giraffe, and I don't think they ever explain it. I didn't get far enough into the show to actually understand what's going on, but it's weird, and I don't think I like it. All the girls, there's like 9 girls, which is, typical for idol stuff, and they're all stupid, which is also typical.
Like Baka, Ponketsu, or just dumb.
Yeah, so there's one that's called, she's got like what looks like a bushel of 3 bananas on either side of her, like her hair, and her name is like, I don't know, like Nana Banana or something. Like the way her name works, like banana is in there, so that's what they call her. They just say, "Hey, banana, what's up?"
That reminds me of Aho Girl, where they would just call her a monkey and she would eat bananas. Yeah. She would like perform tricks for bananas.
And of course, this girl always eats bananas, and the food she makes has bananas in it. She really leans into her one gimmick. It's kind of sad. It's called nominative determinism, in which you live out your name. All anime characters suffer from that disease. I don't know. The gameplay of this it's kind of neat, actually. You have like a squad of 5 girls, and it looks like a DS kind of RPG with that like 3D style.
Turn-based.
Yeah, it is kind of. And like...
It kind of reminds me of Fate.
It might. I don't know. I don't actually know what Fate gameplay is.
Yeah, it looks very similar. Are those like a deck of cards?
Yeah, so...
Okay, yeah, that's Fate.
So each character that you have has like 2 or 3 attacks, I think. And each round you get like a new hand shuffled out of like those cards, whatever. They cost like 1, 2, or 3 points, and I think you have like 6 points to play with every round. So you can play as many as you can afford, basically. And then it's just like attacks, heals, it's just, generic stuff. It's kind of neat, but I didn't play it long enough to even feel the gacha.
Yeah, like, that's totally Fate.
Yeah, it didn't hold my attention long enough, because my main gripe with this is the designs are so generic.
That's the big thing. I'm finding myself that I don't like anime or manga unless it has a distinctive art style, because they all look so... It looks like carbon copied. I couldn't tell you what anime they're from.
I agree, and I don't mind that necessarily, but for me it's the outfits all look the same within each other. So at least at the time I was playing, there were like 3 different schools. One is like the main cast from the show where they wear like looks like royalty prince stuff, like with like a cape and whatever.
Yeah, it looks like there's a reverse trap, and I like
I'm
Banana
sure there
Girl.
is, yeah. Well, she's garbage. And like one school's like feudal Japanese stuff. And
So it's like Fire Emblem.
And one I think was even
Awakening.
like Western American, because I think I got like a gun cowboy
Based.
girl. But it's like,
Oh, that's based.
no, they all look the same.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. Or maybe she was a pirate, actually. Same thing.
Well,
but
not the same thing.
well, kind of. I don't know. It's like, if you're gonna have 1,000 girls, make them look different from each other. That's my one complaint or criticism. Because the games aren't fun. Like,
No.
none of these games is actually something you would want to play if it didn't have the collection aspect.
Right. So I think kind of the theme going wrong with all mobile games basically is they've done as much scientific research as they can to figure out what the minimum viable Skinner box is, and they just get you to do that all day. Speaking of Skinner box, we'll go on to the next one. I think this is the one that I spent the most time on. This is Monster Super League. And I'll tell you right now, there's one reason I spent the time on it is because maybe you've seen an ad on this if you play other mobile games or you're on YouTube. The main Pokemon you get, it's like a Pokemon, and the main first one you get is basically a Fire Senko-san, and she's super adorable. And
From that show where she's like the housemaid or whatever. Yeah.
Fox girl, and you get this, and she's adorable, and you don't make fun of her because now she's my wife. So don't, she's fantastic.
It's a very quick escalation.
The icon, generic monster girl.
Is it her?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, well, there you go. So, there's some merit to it.
So you've probably seen these ads where it's like, evolve your monsters, and they change shape, and it shows little loli, and then teenager, and then like
Mega
a MILF.
Yeah. Like level 1 Mafia, level 99 Fox Mafia.
Yeah, I'm not going to evolve her past level 2 because she looks the best there. She looks like the teenager.
We're going to need to replay that FBI clip that we used in the last Mega Minute thing.
Yeah, Nikki said that was a great opening too.
Yeah,
so.
it was pretty good.
Gameplay is like a really grindy version of Yokai Watch. You can command them automatically, but there is an auto battler, which is just use that anyway. The thing with auto battle is like, well, you don't have to turn it on, but why would you not?
You will.
Yeah. It's like somebody who's like, with the actual Pokemon games, it's too easy with experience share on. And somebody's like, but yeah, you can turn it off. It's like, that's artificial difficulty, and it doesn't make the game better or more challenging. It just makes it more grindy.
But that's the same with everything. So like,
That's not. You can have difficulty that doesn't require grinding.
Well, listen to this. There's in the E3 demos, apparently there's like a Poke Center at the entrance of the gym, because I think the demo was like you play through a gym, and there's a healer guy like standing right there at the beginning, and people were complaining if that's going to be like a main game, like if that's not just a demo thing, if they're gonna have that in the actual game. I can see both sides of the argument.
Yeah,
because it's like after every trainer, I walk to the Poke Center anyway. This is just saving me like 30 seconds to a minute of travel time.
I don't think I've had a Pokemon game that I've played in the last decade where I didn't one-shot everybody in the gym without even going anywhere.
I mean, it depends on your team. Because
I'm always smart enough to know that fire burns grass.
It's not always a smartness thing. Like, there's 17, 18 types. So
you know what
is
one of the best
something.
features of the new Pokemon is that it shows you what's super effective if you've already used it. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
Because I totally want to outsource my thought to that. Because I normally have the chart up anyway. I'm not going to memorize all the new fairy types. Yeah, if I'm playing a mainline game like when I was used to before it showed the thing, I'd just have one up there anyway, and like I'd plan out my team. I like to do that. Going back to Monster Super League, the UI looks like a Chinese cluttered website.
Because
There's notifications everywhere for events going on, things like that. I don't like all that. The login bonuses, and then if you spend 20 minutes playing the game, you can play bingo with the character. Yeah, and
that's nasty. 20 minutes.
It's probably more actually, because you get a bingo card for every 5 minutes or something like that, and you can get like up to 15 cards or something. So yeah, so I only did that twice because I played it for like a weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think login bonuses though are good in general. I think that keeps people playing.
Well, they're good for the company, not for the player.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but
because it's like you said, it's another Skinner box kind of thing. It's just another angle that they can try to addict you from.
Yeah, but it's also like a free thing in the sense that ESO has that, Elder Scrolls Online, and I enjoy that. I think the best login rewards are not ones that are set to a specific day. So
Right.
ESO, if you log on for 15 days in a row, you get a pet. But that pet is only if you've been logging in 15 days since then. Like every month it resets. So
Okay,
if you
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
get 15 days that month, I want it to just be 15 days whenever is a thing. But that's kind of a nitpicky thing.
Well, I don't like them though, just because it turns it into a chore. Like I have to
Yeah.
open the app every day.
There's a great episode of Let Me Tell You About where a friend ruined all League of Legends and all games for him because he's like, oh, you're just logging in to do your chores. And he's like, chores?
Like
oh my
daily
God,
quests.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not fun. And I don't want to do that. Yeah, you're right. I don't really like the quests or anything like that, or I don't know. You're right. I mean, it is bad.
Yeah.
I think this is probably one of the better ones. This is probably my second place if I can remember it correctly.
Yeah. Monster Girl League.
Yeah, Monster Girl League. The girls, out of 10, I would give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
It's pretty good. Not every monster, like there are normal monsters. Not every monster is a anime girl, but you can evolve some monsters into girls. The slimes,
Right.
the third evolution. Most of them have third evolutions, and most of them are just straight ripoffs of Pokemon. The third ones are like Slime Girl or something. So it's highly good in that regard. It's cool because you can get like a Cinco-san, and then there's a model swap or a palette swap where
Like a shiny?
they have shinies,
Okay.
but they also have grass version of Cinco-san.
Oh, yeah.
Who instead she's a brunette with a green dress instead of a blonde with a red dress. So it's actually pretty cool, and you can collect all the different girls. You can have a party of all the same girl but different types. I think it's pretty cool. Literally the art style of the personification characters is why I played it for as long as I did. And there's also like you can get boy monsters as well. And they actually look pretty cool.
Well, we
I
don't talk about those.
I did roll and I got a legendary boy archer and I kept him. He was pretty cool. I'm only going to keep, I see you shaking your head, but I'm only going to keep him until I can get another girl because the girl monsters are rarer. They're like, you can't just keep catching the Pokemon in the area. Not every little Rattata evolves into a hot girl. So you have to like get good and they're rarer. So after playing for only a weekend, I ran into like 3 legendary mobs and they have like a 1% roll chance. And I caught 2 of them,
Wow.
which is pretty sweet considering like, and of course they do lame things like you can, if you run out, you only get 3 Pokeballs every time you go out on an expedition.
Ooh,
so
that's lame.
But once you use one, it's guaranteed to up the percent of catch the next time.
Okay.
But if you don't catch it in the 3, they're like, well, do you want to buy more Pokeballs? That'll be 100 gems.
Mm-hmm.
So they get you like that. But there's also a cool way where, like, let's say you go on the volcano route. You can pay first 1,000, then 5,000, then 10,000 gold to increase the percentage of overall chance forever in that
cool.
route.
I like that.
Later on, there's like hard mode of each world again, which just has increased monsters in different variety and different palette swaps. So, I mean, it's a fun little thing to just auto grind. I basically, 5 of the hours that I played it were just, it was sitting on my table and I hit auto battle. They have a selection where you can play 20 battles in a row automatically. And so I just sat it down and I went through all my energy. I don't know why, but you know,
Why not?
I like the cute
you might
girl.
get a cute JPEG.
Yeah. Well, not a JPEG, like a Blender 3D model. So they're
wow.
all they're all 3D. Let me put it that way. So my favorite games so far have been Honkai Impact and Monster Super League. Both are 3D.
Coincidence?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Well, the big thing with that is that the girls can look different. Like the girls can look visually different than just plain 2D anime girls. Like you just said, I think the main problem with that game you just showed before,
Yeah.
imagine if those were 3D models.
Well,
they would look a lot better.
The in-game characters are 3D. It's just the JPEGs, like the full body pictures are JPEGs. You know what I mean? Like when you're in battle, they're all 3D.
No, not the one you just showed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Review Starlight, yeah.
Huh. I didn't look like that on the screenshot.
You were looking at a different screen in which they were 2D chibis.
Oh.
In battle, they're 3D.
Weird.
Yeah.
And they're like fully proportioned? Or are they
No,
chibi anime?
They're like in between.
I'll have to go look that up again. But,
Not really. It's not worth it.
but if you like Yokai Watch and you like Chinese gacha gambling systems,
then there's no help for you.
Yeah,
but we
you're
do have good news.
I do have good news. You can get your own Senko-san and download Monster Super League and hatch eggs, and you start off with cute ones. So that's just an extra bonus. Like, I think it starts you off with two anime girls. One's a mermaid, and she's the healer, and just goes to, like, it's pretty great. This next game I just wrote down Pocket. Pocket what? Pocket Monster Girls? Pocket something? Pocket Super League?
Pocket Monsters, right?
Yeah, Pocket Monsters. So they just announced a new Pocket Monsters game at E3.
Well, they actually did, like a week or two before E3, a new Pokemon mobile game. It's like a triple battle thing where it looks like the gacha is trainers from the series, and they each have like one of their signature Pokemons.
That's interesting. Do you have any info on that? I don't have any.
No, I mean, I barely looked at the trailer when it came out, but it's like, you can get Brock with Geodude, or you can get Brock with Onix. That's kind of what it looks like. And then you kind of mix and match to make a team and fight other trainers. Looks terrible because it's gacha, but it's Pokemon, so it might be almost decent. Well, while you remember what Pocket stands for, let's just skip it and go to the next one.
We're now on to the big boys. Okay, so...
Or the big girls, maybe, right?
Well, there's boys and girls here.
Uh-oh, what is this?
This is Fate.
Oh, no.
This is Boku no Fate.
Oh, no.
So Fate, Alexandria, Ilia... Imagine if there was an Ilia game. That would be a lot better.
Is she not a character in this game?
I'm sure she's in there, but you can't roll for her. Imagine if it was fully focused around the three Ilias.
I think so.
Yeah.
All three Ilias? Is that what they're called now?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Ilia's the name
all
of
three
the one girl.
prismatics.
Like Kleiner or something. Some weird German name.
So, Fate, as the mobile app, makes more money than all of Nintendo. Is that not the most disgusting fact that you've ever heard?
It's up there for sure. Maybe top 5.
So let's break it through like we have the others. The icon, bad. It's bad. It's trash.
Is it Saber?
Yeah. Well, it's okay. So there's like different versions of Saber, and there's like
only
girls
like
that are not Saber that look like Saber, and that's what it is. It's just bad. It's bad generic anime. It's Fate Go, because I think they rebranded it for Pokemon Go.
Right.
Unless I downloaded the wrong game, which I would hope so, because I don't see how it makes so much money, because it's, spoilers, trash. It's absolutely trash. The install is unforgivably big. It was ridiculous. Completely. It was bigger than Honkai Impact, and that was a 3D SFM Blender modeled Unity 3D Bayonetta fighting game that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The gameplay is side-scroller, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories style, kind of like the game that you were talking about.
No, see, that sounds a lot cooler.
I'm giving it a lot of like.
Do you move around? You said Chain of Memory, so like, do you move around? It's
you don't
like an
move.
Action thing?
No, I'm mainly speaking of its cards. Like, you get cards, and you get to pick.
Yeah.
And then if you pick 3 blue cards in a row, you can do that. And there's like, instead of your 9 girls that you get to play as a party, this is 3 characters. You get 3.
Not as good.
Well,
you need
it doesn't
more.
matter, because you still have a limit of the skills you can do. But and then it's just, the story is visual novel out of 10. It's just, oh god,
like any Fate property.
I read the original game and I had a great time doing it.
You
It was
were in
great.
high school.
Yeah, as a kid, I thought Rin was best girl because I liked the tsundere and she had the best outfit. But Saber's a good girl. I don't like good as in like a loyal good girl. Like,
right.
I mean, she's probably got that female knight ab trope.
I bet she does.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
There is a scene where you do both of them at the same time, Rin and Saber, to restore Saber's mana.
Of course.
Yeah, so that was always a positive thing. But Rin in her pajamas is pretty good. They're not in this. Saber's in this, and Lancer is in the tutorial. But I think you start out with Saber. This game is just not good. The aesthetics is like a 5 out of 10. Modern city day, real life thing. The UI is just completely awful. It's one big advertisement. They're all big advertisements.
It's exactly what all of the idol games look like the Love Live games.
Yeah, there's just so many menus and different missions you can go on. I really just don't like it. I don't want to shame anybody who likes these or, God forbid, spends money. But if you do, please, I'm like genuinely curious what you find in them.
I think that does deserve shaming. Some things do deserve shaming.
I mean, I don't want to shame somebody because honestly it is a sickness like gambling. Like, well, I mean, people have like biologically like endorphins in their brain, and unstable chemicals that make them prone to gambling. In fact, there are some medicines. There's an Alzheimer's medicine, I believe it is. Yeah, but their side effect will make you addicted to gambling. And they found that there's actually, things in their brain that you can do like that. I don't understand how it makes so much money. I don't understand all the different things in there. There's so many things going on. And you know what I really hate? I talked about this a little bit with the daily logins, is missable things. And it's like, they do this on purpose. Fire Emblem really does this, where it's like, okay, only this week you could roll for the bridal versions of these characters.
Banners is what those are called, where they have like increased odds for like 5 select characters.
And it's like, so I can never get these characters again, and so I have to spend $200 now to get it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it grosses more than like Nintendo and Sony.
That should be illegal. I think that really should be illegal because it's a scam. The gameplay is just awful. It's that card-based, like, side-scroller, turn-based thing. I believe it also has an auto version, which is just what I did, because why would you not have the auto? Like, it's not fun. It's not good. The girls are Astolfo out of 10.
Astolfo?
Yeah.
Well, what's the lumberjack guy? He's like a lowly girl, right?
Oh,
Paul Bunyan?
Paul Bunyan, yeah. And Jack the Ripper.
Of course.
And I've only seen the first season, the real season of the show.
Yeah. I saw Zero
Fate
and
Stay
I
Night.
saw the Fate
I didn't watch any of that. I have probably just seen enough clips to understand Prismia, Ilya.
I mean, you've seen Loli.dance, the website.
Yeah, I've seen the Loli dance, and I've seen where they're kissing. That's mostly it. I think that gives you the good.
Yeah, I think that's the whole show.
Yeah, basically. And then, so apparently, from what I gather from all the doujins, they feel the same thing as each other. Like the little girl and the little brown girl, they're psychically connected. So if one of them feels something, the other one feels it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So there was like a dynamic where one would like kick a table to hurt the other one, but it would hurt both of them. And then like the little brown girl was more lewd and like started turning herself on to get the other one. I think this is like actually from the show.
I believe it. Yeah, that sounds like out of the show.
Like I said, the UI is trash, but in a modern flavor. It looks really bad. I don't like it. Please, if you like it, explain it to me.
Please, get some help.
Please, get some help. All right, on to the next big juggernaut.
Next game.
This is Fire Emblem Fates. Fire Emblem Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go to the polls. Pokemon Go kill yourself.
Fire Emblem Heroes, right?
Yes, okay. Yeah. So I wrote Fire Emblem Fates here, and then I realized that I scribbled out the F and put an H for Heroes. Yeah.
Fire Emblem Hates, it sounds like. If you scribble out the F and replace it with an H?
Yeah, I think that was a subliminal thing that I was doing. Yeah. Fire Emblem Heroes. Fire Emblem Fates is an actual game.
So is Hero. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you almost got me there.
Yeah, so the icon, generic. The install is a million.
Big.
Yeah, 1 million megabytes in parts. This is an interesting way, and the biggest games do this, where, okay, hey, it's only a 30 megabyte install. Oh, the update's 90 megabytes. Okay, so I did all that. Oh, okay, and here I'm playing now. So you play the tutorial, and then it's like, you want to download the next part of this to keep playing?
Yeah.
That's 390 megabytes.
Like, it should say on the store page, like, this is how much realistically you'll need.
It is, yeah.
Because, like, what if I don't have the space?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to download it and try to get invested in it, and then, oops.
Exactly.
Which is what happens.
Yeah, and... Well, that's because they already got you. If you had to sit down and play like Honkai Impact, and I think it was Girls Frontline, and maybe Epic 7, that all had like 2 gigs right out the bat. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll play the next one while I wait for this to download or something like that. I mean, it's good because you're already invested at that point. You already did the tutorial. You want to keep going. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really ingenious system, honestly. I mean, these are all like doctoral level Skinner boxes. Like they've all had psychological scientists come in and tell you what it is. The gameplay it's a game.
Kind of. It's like Fire Emblem, but light. For babies.
Yeah, it's a Fire Emblem light. And
like a 5x5 grid or so. Like,
oh, it's bigger than that. It's like a 20x20 or something.
No, probably closer to 10x10.
I don't know.
We'll meet halfway in the middle.
Yeah. But it actually is. It has a game. It has the same trifecta, and it's got magic.
Triangle.
Yeah. And instead of having like 12 characters, you have 4, which is honestly better. I always play the actual games with just a few characters anyway. I never go more than 6 because I want to just level up super powerful characters and I want to build a connection with them. That's what I like about Fire Emblem. I'm like, yeah, I want Hector to get the awesome weapon. I don't want to have to use Hector and then his cousin and then alternate and things like that.
Actually,
It's
Hector
not-
doesn't have a cousin?
Yeah, well,
Probably not. I hope I'm not wrong on
now
that.
that gameplay is when I played the tutorial and when I played it years ago when it first came out.
Yeah, I played it for like a good solid couple months, maybe a year after launch.
But
I enjoyed it for the most part.
But now they have auto battle where they just battle for you. And so far I've never lost a match. I've done the first 2 books and I've never lost a match. Started at 0 and just do auto because it's not a game at that point. And like I said, if there's an option to auto, you do it because it's like the most economically for your time. And it's just for that section, I wrote inverse differential equation. I'm not sure what I mean by that.
I think you're getting too galaxy brained at the time. For what section was that?
For the auto battle. Oh, this is what I was talking about. So weirdly enough, there are games that start out harder and then get easier the more you grind. Whereas this is kind of like a different
like
thing.
Every game. It gets easier.
Well, not
after you
with this,
grind.
because these mobile games get harder the further you go, but you don't level up to meet them. So it's like...
Right, so it's like you're leveling up linearly, like, 1 hour every minute or something. Wait, that was retarded. Like 1 level every hour or so, but the difficulty's getting like 2 levels higher every hour.
Right.
You mean like that? Yeah.
So the story of this, they went with a very, I would say very brave type of interesting direction in this. And the fact that the story consists of a single word, which is like groundbreaking almost. It's kind of like postmodern art. The entire story consists of the word skip.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so every time, like, it's like, okay, like, next thing, skip.
Right.
Because it's just, oh, God, it's so
They must have rewritten it, because when I played it like a couple of years ago, there was more story than just skip. But, I guess they've streamlined it for the Zoomer
streamlined it.
generation.
Yes. It's just one button win, and then auto plays for you, and you just see the little bars go up yourself and things like that.
I thought the story's kind of neat, because it's like a crossover game, so they have like interdimensional
What I
portal
liked is
guns, basically.
there are levels based on like, oh, so here's all the people from Conquest. You fight them all at once. Hey, it's neat, and it's only neat because I know them already. But the gameplay is not.
A lot of those are also, the maps are recreations of like semi-famous or whatever, like popular maps from those games initially. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of any famous map names.
I started playing Fire Emblem at Sacred Swords, so I only know the people from then onward.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new ones.
That's most people in America, actually, because...
Well, most people started with the DS one, with Awakening.
Oh, you mean later? Yeah. Well, they would know fewer than you know.
Yes.
Okay. It sounded like you were saying, like,
No,
I don't know that
later.
many.
Well, yeah, I don't. Well, compared to like Fire Emblem fans, I've seen people raving over. Oh, my favorite character, Lynn.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Lynn is from Sacred Swords.
Big. No, she's from Fire Emblem 7, which was the one right before Sacred Stones. And she's huge in like the fandom, I guess.
Well, she's actually very good. Like you get 2 free legendary ones. I picked her and Veronica.
I don't know
I just
Veronica.
want to see the kids Veronica. Like you chose that jock over a sophisticated gamer like me. She's also on a horse. She's a cleric, which is awesome. But levels very slowly, especially with auto battle, because the auto battle won't always spend a turn to heal.
They don't do the grinding like you have to do when you're leveling up a healer.
But it's so easy, I've never lost anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's just because you're doing the initial missions. Once you start doing the harder difficulties, then you need to like
I'm only
get
level
skills.
30.
Like there are people who like check all the skills and like try to build.
It's
like
competitive,
the optimum.
Well, because there's multiple game modes. I've only played the story, but there's
and they
like
add new ones all the time.
Yeah, there's like a RTS base building style thing where you build up your base and then people invade, and then there's like a Coliseum where you pick like 3 characters. There's a lot of stuff to it. It's honestly one big problem with all these games is that they introduce all at once a ton of complicated systems.
Yes.
And it's like, well, do I use these items that I just got on a character that I don't know is good or not? The problem is there's so many consumables and there's so many different like gems and artifacts and equipment gear. I don't know what I can and can't respec. Like with World of Warcraft, it's great because you can level up a build and then respec and get all your talents back. You don't have to worry about like, do I have to pay $20 to reallocate all my stat points?
Didn't you used to actually have to pay to respec in WoW?
just gold, a little bit of gold.
Oh,
and it was
okay. It wasn't
yeah.
real money.
Yeah, no, where something like Fly FF, you'd have to spend like $20 to respec your stat. You have to level as your end game build, so you'd have to do an hour of research to figure out if you want to do the acrobat, if you want him to be a yo-yo bat or with a bow.
That sounds really cool.
Well, it's an acrobat that uses yo-yos.
Oh, I was thinking like a bat with a yo-yo at the end.
No.
I was like, that's like the
but
coolest
it was still
weapon.
cool. Like, I mean, what other game lets you play dual yo-yos as a weapon? That's pretty sweet.
Earthbound, maybe you've heard of it.
Actually, that was a really fun game. And now they have you know what I should have done is they do have a mobile game, Fly FF Mobile. Oh. It's not the same at all. You know, they all Maple Story and Maple Story 2. Was it Maple Story? And this is exactly like that. You know, there's a million Chinese like RPGs, like isometrics overboards. That's what Fly FF was. I didn't even bother downloading it because it's just the brand. Nothing. I don't even think it's the same characters.
Might not be.
Yeah, so I should have downloaded that. I'll probably go play it after this and see. Maybe we'll do an addendum. The aesthetics of Fire Emblem Fates are probably an 8 out of 10. I actually really like the style.
I do too.
The chibi is the only time I've ever seen it done well. It's a good chibi. The girls are 7 out of 10 just because I don't know too many about the Fire Emblem girls.
Sure.
I can't think of any that I really like off the hand. Robin, the main story girl. I can't think of any other.
I think something that's neat about this one is that they have different artists to do all the different characters. So you do get kind of like a mix of art styles and different designs and such. And that kind of gives it a feeling of freshness in a way.
I could see that. The UI is cluttered like the rest of the things. There's still parts of the menu that I've never used. There's still game modes that I've never used. There's UI things popping up everywhere like, oh, you get to blah, blah, blah today. The summons are just bad. It's just bad. All of these systems with summons are bad. And they should feel bad, but they don't because they make millions and millions of dollars.
They actually feel very
almost every
good
day.
about
Yeah,
it.
they feel great. They think it's a great thing, and it's really not.
They're
you know,
right
the UK has banned loot boxes, so they need to start banning gacha games, like so they can come up with actual good games. I mean, I'm totally for that. Like it's awful.
I think the thing with Fire Emblem, and it's mostly because I've played the games and I like them. I think that's the only reason that I have positive feelings towards this one. Even though it is relatively competent.
It is an IP
game
that I enjoyed previously, and I enjoyed the games before. I even liked, most people hate on the fact that they moved to waifu wars.
That's the best.
But I think it's okay. Because it was always different than something like Advanced Wars because I built a team and I grew very attached to all those characters. Like, you know, the samurai dude, I was like, yeah, he's awesome. Like, I'm going to do all that stuff. This is probably ranking number 3 in the game aspect because you can actually play it as a game, but there is that auto mode which just defeats all the purposes of everything.
Yeah, I think my biggest complaint in that it's more like a tragedy, and you find this with every few games that are like decent on mobile, where I just would rather pay $20 and get like a full game. Yeah, like I know that they don't make any money. Yeah. I know, and it's so sad. Like you can never. God forbid you actually find a mobile game that's really good and really compelling because you can never enjoy it because of the gacha mechanics. Like Archero. I like that game, but I don't like the gacha mechanics, and I don't like the power creep. Yeah. The curve on that.
We don't really have time to go into all of the Western games that I downloaded, but there were some that were actually pretty fun games. And Archero is one of them, and that's kind of spawned the idea to go through and do an episode on this. Castle Burn is like a MOBA mixed with RTS. I haven't played it in a couple months and it got really complicated, but it's a genuinely good game. It was one of the only games where I almost spent $20 on it. I almost spent money. I was like, well, let me just get the free card pack and do that. It's one of those where it allows you to get everything for free and it doesn't feel like it's ripping me off. All of these games seem like they're designed to rip you off, nickel and dime you every single thing you do. It's almost impossible to play. Whereas like some of these Western games, it honestly feels like you're paying for something extra. It's like a skin. It's like extra cards. It's just a little boost or something. It's not that offensive. Whereas I see these gacha games and it's like, it's only there to be a purchasing thing. Whereas like, it seems like an extra feature or an afterthought in a lot of the Western games. I also want to say Brawl Stars was good. It's kind of like, not really a MOBA, but it's like a arena
Oh, that's
top
that
10.
desert-looking one, right?
Yeah, well, that was just the map I was using there. But I played that. That was an actual game. I was like, wow, this is actually good. Although the art style is Cal Art, so it's not very good. But it was actually a game. Clash Royale was trash. AFK Arena, I didn't get through.
Yeah, I played that a little bit. It's not fun at all.
Lords Mobile was the worst Western game I played. It was just the art style was like hideous. That was that. Obviously, RuneScape, if you like that, is probably the best mobile game.
Yeah, because it's free.
And it's good. It's an actual game.
Well, it's RuneScape. I don't know if it's good.
It's still one of the top MMOs in the world.
Well, that doesn't say much. I mean, MMOs in general are pretty bad.
Now we have one final segment where we're going to talk about 2 games. This is a DLC to the podcast. Mobile games after dark.
What is this, like porn mobile games?
I don't know if you've ever gotten ads for Nutaku or Nut Aku. It's basically a publisher that makes mobile games that are ecchi and beyond things. So it's got like 50 different games, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not on the App Store. You have to go to their website and then you download their client. It's like a Steam.
Wow.
Yeah. So you just download the APK.
Is this actual porn or is it just like close enough to where...
But some games are different.
Wow.
Like, actually PewDiePie did a review of one of their games. So it's like, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, what? It was like FAP CEO is the one he did.
Oh, you can't expose your 9-year-old army to that kind of content.
Well, I downloaded 2 that I thought looked the most interesting. There's a lot, like they have a lot that are blatant ripoffs of like other things. And they even have some browser games, like browser versions of the actual games. There's like one that's a spin-off of Overwatch. There's one that's like card RPG,
Hearthstone.
dating sim like VNs. Here's Booty Call, casual dating sim, turn-based RPG. FAP CEO is the one PewDiePie did. So there's a lot of different like little.
Is that like a sim game, like YouTube sim or like game dev sim?
Probably. It's probably similar. Here's one called Pussy Saga. That's great. Harem Heroes. I downloaded. So yeah. Now that I'm going through this, each one of these icons has boobs in it, so this is definitely the After Dark episode. I downloaded 2. I downloaded Pocket Fantasy and Minitary Girls, which is not Military Girls. I don't know if it's a bad misspelling or if it's an actual word.
Maybe they're tiny girls.
Possibly. They were chibi.
There it is.
Military
Minotaurs.
Girls. Yeah, so they weren't Minotaurs, but so I downloaded Pocket Fantasy. So the icon, bikini generic. The icon itself wasn't actually porn, but there are definitely naked girls in it. So the game is like Minesweeper, basically.
Oh, so it's good.
Well, it's like, so the overworld is like Minesweeper, and then when you get hit with you end up having to clear all of the tiles anyway, and inside is like, oh, a random battle, and like that's the person you got to kill. A random battle or a treasure or nothing. So the fighting, that generic side-scroller thing, they say it's a lane MOBA, but it's not really like lanes. It's more like...
A one-lane MOBA?
Yeah, it's basically like that. And then you pick the girls and they have different powers and things like that. So like I said, the install is kind of weird. You have to download their app or an APK on a website and then install it yourself.
Very sketchy. Very etchy.
So it's mixed artists like Fire Emblem, but this is done poorly.
And it's man.
It's like
that's
so
the whole
different.
appeal of the thing, more so than these other like
because they're all just generic boob girls, anime girls. They're just it's so generic. In fact, there's a girl from the future. It's like, who are you? I'm you from the future, and her future outfit is just that she's naked. Wow. So it's like
things got very progressive in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's stolen assets. In fact, even there's
actually stolen.
Well, I swear it's the Mario sound for the coin whenever you do something. It seems like a copyright thing.
How are
I don't
these
know.
monetized? Like every other gacha game, basically.
I think there was things in there like you can get more energy and things like that. It wasn't. I didn't think it was so much a gacha game. I think it was more like just a Western. Like you need more energy to do stuff. You need more gems to get extra gold.
You know what's cool though? I'm pretty sure with most normal apps, all of their in-app purchases, like Apple or Android, takes a cut. But if you're going if you have to download this not on the Play Store,
oh, there you go.
Do they get all the money?
I would guess. Yeah.
I would think so.
Unless they're using it as a.
Let's make a porn gacha game.
I'm telling you, there's money in this. Let's open Studio Foe 2.
Yeah. Studio Tim Pool, and we'll make Shadowverse or whatever his thing was.
Exactly. So the auto battle for this does nothing. Like they didn't use the skills. It just like auto attacked, and it's like that's not what I want. Like
a lot of like JRPGs have that as
it
like
seems
their auto
very
attack.
very cheaply made.
Yeah.
These are all cash grabs. All of them are cash grabs.
I want a cash grab. I want to grab cash.
The girls range from 4 to 8.5.
They range from 4 to 8 years old. This is mini Tars after all.
Well, in parentheses, I did write down too many cow tits is a problem.
Well, it's Minotaurs.
Because it's all like, it's all just generic anime babes. Like it's
That's
like,
what sells.
Come on, I don't know.
Milk
man.
trucks
like,
is what sells.
I want some unique art styles and character designs, but I'm not going to get that from a cheaply made mobile game. There's like it's got that Chinese syndrome where it's flashing lights everywhere and there's 100 menus and things like that. So that was Pocket Fantasy. I also downloaded Military Girls. Didn't even get past the tutorial because it was like it was also kind of like they say it was RTS. It's not an RTS. I mean, yeah, technically it's a real-time strategy in the same way that RPG stands for everything now.
Right.
Like everything's an RPG.
Is it more like an RT basically, where it's just real time? It sounds like there's no strategy.
It's more like a turn-based, like, I don't know. It's just really bad. Click on them and they do their special attacks, and the chibi was done.
Is there clothing
not
damage?
Great. I didn't even get that far.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my review of the hentai games that we downloaded, the After Dark games. I didn't really download too many of them to see how it is, but I mean, every day I'm still getting things from notifications from Monster Super League and Fire Emblem Fates, all that stuff, and I did it for you guys. Oh, I just have some miscellaneous notes from like my experience of all the different anime games and like mobile games and things in general. And if you've played any mobile games, you'll probably have the same thing. So me as a person, when I used to play mobile games and I first started playing them, I first got a smartphone. Wow, I'm going to conserve all the gems that I get, and then I'm going to use it the most efficient manner. A lot of them early on would have a tutorial, and it's like, okay, now spend these gems for this episode or wait 1 minute. I would wait the minute because I wanted to save that extra buck.
Right, yeah.
As to be economical.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's how I would play a normal game, so I wanted to play it like that. But I'll tell you what, I downloaded so many of these games. I had so many different currencies that I didn't care. And I was like, I'm not going to play this anymore. So it completely got me in a different mindset. I spent all the gems that they gave me because I didn't care about them, which is such a weird departure from how I would normally play games. I think that's bad because now I'm like, oh yeah, spending gems is nothing. Like, what? It's just one small step to put in my credit card and spend more gems.
Well, if you're just checking out the game, then yeah, go ahead, spend it. But if you actually think, God help you, if you actually do like one of these games and want to play them, then you probably would slip it back into your stingy ways.
Well, I think it's just one slippery slope mindset, because before I would be like, wow, okay, I've got 50 gems and I need to get 300 for this. Let me conserve them. I'll do everything to get the little gems. Watch the ads. I'll play the daily quests and things like that. And I used to just hoard them and they were precious. Now I'm completely off mobile games. I'm like, nah, son. I mean, we talked about this before, but they're all scientific Skinner boxes, and they all sat down in a boardroom with the data scientists, and they're like, what is the minimum we can do to get people like in an addiction loop, in a game loop, in a Skinner loop of just like getting a little dopamine reward of extra things. And it's honestly a really sad state to where, you know, mobile gaming is, and now, you know, Nintendo switching to almost exclusively mobile games because there's so much money in it. There's so much money in it, and all these industries. I mean, there's a Skyrim mobile game, and it's like, oh, it's just
coming to Switch.
Diablo.
It's a mobile game ported to the Switch. Like, what a weird world.
If you remember,
what a terrible world.
If you remember, Nintendo's pioneered some of that. Like, they had like those Pokemon Rumble things on the DS. It was a free DS game from the eShop.
Yeah.
That was such a weird mobile game thing, but they did pioneer that.
But that one did have you pay $20 and you beat it. Like, you can play it as a real game.
But it's a slippery slope. They were just testing the waters, and now they're mobile games. Honestly, here's another call to action. If you like these games, I'm not here to tell you what to like and dislike. I think they're awful, but I would be legitimately curious if anybody plays if you play Fates or Fire Emblem or anything like that. What do you see in these games? What do you like about them? I mean, I want to make a video game. I have ideas for it. It would be better looking anime girls that's more unique, but have like a Western gameplay, and it wouldn't be a gacha. You wouldn't like roll for the loot boxes and stuff. It would be an actual game. Why is there no market for actually good games on mobile devices? I feel like that's an untapped market.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, it's untapped because it doesn't need to be tapped. Why would you spend the resources making a good game when it's profitable to not?
I don't know. Why would you be a good person in your life when you can go through and just murder strangers?
Well, because you don't get money for murdering strangers.
You rob them.
Well, I mean, you can retire off of a crummy mobile game. You can't retire off of robbing and killing one person.
I'm super interested. If you made it this far into the podcast, then you're a super passenger who's been upgraded to first class, business class, and we're going to give you the steak and a full bottle of wine. So why don't you type in...
I disagree. I'm going to neg everyone. You should always listen to every second of this. What do you mean? You should be a normal fan if you listen to it.
You're cutting off my call to action. I want to know what you like in mobile games. Not so much games in general, because I can't make that, but I want to make some type of mobile game. Tell me what you like in them. Like, even if you liked something that I harped on, I'm not going to harp on you because everybody's different. Let me know in the comments what you like, what games you play. Let's make something that's actually good, with the BG for You conglomerate corporation.
Of course, yeah, with all our many skills and talents. Yeah, we'll make a porn game, gotcha game. We'll hire all the famous artists like Shadman and
It's gonna be exclusively Shadman and Shindle and Mirazuri K. It's gonna be full NTR traps.
Wow,
trap NTR. There's a
niche.
Yeah.
An underserved niche.
I actually can't believe that there's not one already.
Well, we have until you finish editing and uploading this episode to make the game and release it. The race is on.
Well, speaking of the race, where else can they race to find other content? I'll cut you off, and I'll just say it's in the description of the podcast and video, so we don't have to say it all, but you can go us on the YouTubes. It's the Flight Plan Podcast. You can find us on anchor.fm/theflightplan, which is spaced with the hyphens. We get a lot of traffic from, not Shopify, Spotify. I think we get we get like 60% of the RSS traffic from Spotify.
I didn't know we were on there.
Yeah, but the site we use doesn't let us access that account, so... Because we went through Anchor. You have to make the Spotify account before. Anyway.
Go to bit.ly/allcaps BG4UHQ. Download Tiny Green. Let's get a couple more downloads. Don't even play it. Just download it. Help me out.
Yeah. Because then if you like that, then it tells us to translate more games.
Whatever.
So there's a link in the description to download the game. Nobody's getting money from it. It's just ego boost of getting extra downloads. You know what's another ego boost? Crashing this plane with no survivors.
Kind of like an ego downer.
Ego death.
Well, literal death.
Literal death. Well, your literal death also has an ego death associated with it.
Who knows? We might just be like...
It's like a square rectangle
We
thing.
might be like mines in a vat or something, and we're being beamed into the human bodies, and then when you die as a human, your mind lives on.
They have just recently discovered that the neurons in our brain exist in multiple dimensions, so...
dimensions aren't even real. Like, that's just scientists gobbledygook. They make that up.
It gives credence to the idea that our brains are just antenna for like a field of consciousness. That's what I consider it. It's like a field that gets tapped into. So basically it's all just dimensions at right angles. Let's crash this plane.
Okay. In a right angle formation.